Hey folks, welcome to the very first episode of Stateside Stoppage Time. My name is Cameron Hall. This is my channel. Um, a little bit about me before we delve into today's video, which is going to be about the countries that can still qualify for the 2026 World Cup in America, where I'm from, and how they can do that. We do know some of the countries that have qualified already, including, the hosts, US, Canada, Mexico. Before we delve into all that, though, I just wanted to tell y'all a little bit more about me, about this channel. So I've been wanting to start a footballing YouTube channel for a very long time now. It's been one of my goals, and I haven't just had the time or the resources to do that yet, but here I am. I've been watching footballing videos on YouTube for most of my adult life. I've been watching the beautiful games since I was a kid. I've been playing since I was 3. So this is a big part of my life. As you can see, Liverpool fan, Juventus fan, got a Liverpool hat on. But I also am a big fan of teams and nations from all across the world. Shout out to the San Pedro Pirates out of Belize. So I'm really into football, and I want to make this channel a place where global cultures, global identities, and football can all kind of come together in the beautiful game like we all know and love, and like we should be doing to maintain this community that we have. So let's get into it. Today we're going to cover the basics of World Cup qualification because we're getting back into the next international window here in a minute. So before we jump into anything specific about countries that can still qualify, I just wanted to mention the countries that have already qualified or been disqualified, just so in case I don't mention your nation in this video, you understand, either they've already qualified or they've already been disqualified, unfortunately. So just off the bat, we have the USA, Mexico, Canada. They're the hosts. They ought to qualify. Japan was the first non-host nation to qualify out of the AFC. New Zealand won the OFC final to be the qualifier, sending New Caledonia into the Intercontinental Playoffs, or Interconfederation Playoffs. Iran qualified next, second out of the AFC. They're regulars at the World Cup, so of course they qualified. Argentina qualified once again. They topped their table. They were never in question to not qualify. The biggest two so far have been Uzbekistan and Jordan, who both achieved their first ever World Cup qualification and will be traveling to America here next year. So we're really excited about that. They did it on the same day. Next, you have South Korea and Ecuador, who are also both regulars, followed by Brazil and Australia. Decent regulars. Australia usually wait until the final day of qualifying to qualify, last minute. So they did get that auto qualification spot out of the AFC though. So good for them. We'll be happy to see our neighbors from down under soon enough. Now moving on to some of the notable countries that have already been disqualified. Unfortunately, the list is too long. I don't have all the time right now to go through them all. I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. If you do want a video about all of the countries that have so far been disqualified, let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for new video ideas. This is, again, a new channel, first video ever. So if you want some of that, let me know. But we do have just some notable nations who have confirmed their exit from qualification so far. Russia was banned by UEFA due to their actions in Ukraine at the moment. Niue used to be an OFC member, but is no longer an OFC member. They were never a FIFA member, but they were looking to get towards that at one point and have just fallen off. Eritrea withdrew due to concern that players would be fleeing for asylum if they were to travel to another country, even for qualification games. Pakistan, India, and China, 3 of the 5 most populous FIFA member states, have been eliminated from qualification in gameplay. Lastly, we have Chile, who continues their streak of not qualifying for their 3rd straight World Cup. That is a little concerning. Hopefully they can revitalize and make it back for 2030, but we'll see. All right, time to get into now the reason why I'm making this video. We're going to go through every country that can still qualify for the World Cup in America next year, and how they will do so and what their groups look like right now. We're going to take it in 2 parts. So we're going to start with OFC. Well, we'll start by talking about New Caledonia for a minute. Then we're going to go into CONCACAF, the AFC, and CONMEBOL. And then next video, there will be a part 2 because this will get a little bit long. I'm going to try to make it as quick as I can, but we'll see. We will go into the CAF and UEFA and see what they're looking like. So starting with the OFC, we already saw the final. If we go over to the knockout, we can see that New Zealand beat New Caledonia 3-0. It wasn't too hard of a fight, but New Caledonia did show that they are putting up more than they have in the past. I genuinely think that they will put a fight up at the Interconfederation playoffs. While they do have a lot of skill and talent on that team, New Caledonia will likely be facing somebody like Venezuela or Bolivia alongside some decently strong African and Asian and North American teams. I think that it will be a hard fight, but they do have a chance. Good luck, New Caledonia. Let's see what you can do. And that's it for OFC. Let's move on to CONCACAF. All right, so the format here is we had 3 groups of 4 teams. A double round robin format, which means every team plays every other team in their group twice, home and away. The top team in each group will qualify for the World Cup automatically, with the top 2 second place teams going straight to the Interconfederation playoff. Now, I'm so sorry. I keep saying both Interconfederation playoff and Intercontinental playoff. And I know that it's Interconfederation because the Intercontinental playoff refers to the Intercontinental Cup, a different competition entirely. But I will do my best to correct myself. And when I don't, you can make fun of me in the comments. How about that? So for CONCACAF Group A, we have El Salvador, Guatemala, Panama, and Suriname. Now remember, this specific round hasn't had any games yet. So this is starting pretty fresh here in about a week from when I'm recording this. We don't have anything to go off of so far in their performance within this specific group. But Panama are likely to get first. Their recent form has just been better than the other 3 teams. But we will see. Suriname has put up some pretty good form in qualification, and I could see them go second or even surpass Panama at first. This isn't as much of a prediction video as it is an explanatory video and just seeing where everything is at. But I do, if I had to estimate, I'd say Panama will get first with Suriname in second. The other 2, Guatemala and El Salvador, unfortunately, they just haven't put up the best form. Panama is the only non-underdog team here in this group of 4. So I would love to see one of these other teams take first place. And the top team gets automatic qualification. So we will see. I'm excited. I'm rooting for all of y'all. Now, Group B is a lot more interesting. We have Bermuda, Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago, and Jamaica. Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica are both powerhouses traditionally in the Caribbean, at least comparatively to some of the other nations like Antigua and Barbuda and Turks and Caicos, right? They've shown international supremacy in certain sports, not necessarily just football, but they have a lot running for them. However, Bermuda did just win the Orkney Island Games, which is a set of sporting competitions in which football is just one of many sports, held between a bunch of islands every couple of years. They were the only FIFA affiliated national team to be in the soccer tournament portion of the Orkney Island Games, which takes place in the British Isle general area. Nonetheless, they did still win. Most of the other national teams who participated were non-member states of even a confederation, but these games took place about a month and a half ago, not even. Whereas other national teams haven't really trained in a competitive format together since the last international window. Bermuda has something on its side here, and that something is just consistent training. I fully believe that Bermuda could come in and get second or maybe even first. I don't know how strong that training still is. Bermuda is a small island country. It's not even a country. It's a self-governing British territory in the Atlantic, and it's closer to the North American coast than Great Britain. But not only have they played together more recently, they've won a somewhat major international trophy more recently than any of these countries, by far. I mean, the last Olympics, and I don't even know if Jamaica, Curacao, or Trinidad and Tobago won a medal at the last Olympics, but that would have been the most recent. So they have momentum on their side, and I think that that could carry into this qualification cycle. Now remember, these groups only have 4 teams each, so they will only be playing each other team once, that's 6 games. So they have to make every game count. And with the momentum on their side, I think Bermuda could pull through. At the opposite end, I think Curacao are almost fated to lose. I don't think that they're going to do very well, considering their most level competitor in this group in terms of an international recognition of football is Bermuda, and they have that momentum going for them. I just don't see Curacao pulling through. But the rest of it is a toss-up. I do know Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago both have some solid teams, but I do know that Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago could be shockingly upset by the Orkney Island Games champions, Bermuda. So good luck, Bermuda. I'm rooting for you. I'd love to see you at your first World Cup, so see what you can bring. Our final group in CONCACAF consists of Costa Rica, Haiti, Honduras, and Nicaragua. So we have 3 Central American countries and 1 Caribbean country, that being Haiti. Now, Costa Rica are the obvious favorites. They win more games than they lose. They went unbeaten in the last round of qualification, and historically, they're just the team to qualify for moves like this. Honduras also went unbeaten last round despite playing Cuba and Bermuda, and they do have a lot of momentum on their side. I think that Honduras could really challenge Costa Rica for this top spot. Haiti and Nicaragua have had a much more difficult qualifying campaign. However, despite having a more difficult time getting over to this next round of qualification, Nicaragua did have to face the likes of Guyana and Panama, 2 very strong national teams, Guyana being a South American country playing in CONCACAF, essentially. And if you all want a video of why French Guyana and Suriname play in CONCACAF, again, just let me know. But Nicaragua did have a tougher group last round, but Haiti did get through it better. So it really is a toss-up. I do think that either of them could get 3rd or 4th, but I don't see either of them getting through above Costa Rica or Honduras. They have just put up too much quality for it lately. That wraps things up, at least for this point in time, in terms of CONCACAF. So let's move on to the AFC. At this point in the qualification process, we are down to 2 groups of 3 teams each. Each team will play a single round-robin style tournament where they play every other team in their group exactly once, for a total of 2 games per team. So this is really a massively important 2 moments, 2 games to define your World Cup fate. The top of each of the 2 groups will automatically qualify for the World Cup, filling in the last 2 spots of the AFC's qualification. Then the 2 second-place teams of each group will play a 2-legged final to determine which one of them goes to the Interconfederation playoff. Group A here consists of Oman, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. While Qatar are the reigning AFC champions, their qualification fight has been dismal, and they have not put up the same kind of form that they put up in the last Asian Cup. On top of this, they have already played the UAE 2 times in the last round, where they were in the same group, and lost both matches, one of which being a 5-0 loss. Similarly, Oman had a terrible last round, barely qualifying in 4th for this round above Palestine, who honestly put up a much better fight than Oman did last round. In my head, this is just the UAE takes it. Then I would assume Qatar could at least snag 2nd and potentially make their way into the Interconfederation playoffs. You never know, but it definitely seems like this group will be dominated by the UAE. They, again, have 2 games total per team to show what they're made of. So if Qatar and Oman can't put up the right form, the UAE takes this group, no questions asked. Group B is a lot more up in the air. You have Indonesia, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. Indonesia and Saudi Arabia shared a group last round, and Indonesia tied and then beat Saudi Arabia. However, Saudi Arabia is a nation who, as we all know, has been in the news constantly as of late, invigorating and financing their football infrastructure entirely. They have had some success internationally in the AFC in qualifiers, so we will see. Indonesia, on the other hand, has been on a rise. Their national team has been on a very clear rise. They have never gotten this far in qualification before as Indonesia, I should preface, because they did qualify once as the Dutch East Indies. But that was under colonial rule. As Indonesia, they haven't ever qualified for a World Cup. I genuinely think Indonesia can pull above Saudi Arabia, especially given the results last round, especially considering Iraq lost to Kuwait last round, and their performances in the recent Gulf Cup ahead of the new year against Bahrain and Saudi Arabia just solidify this. Again, this isn't a predictions video, but Indonesia have a solid thing going, and Saudi Arabia can get second. Then it's really just a question of, can Saudi Arabia beat Qatar in that playoff game? But we will see. Good luck to all of the teams. I would love to see Iraq come back from behind and from their poor performances recently and take first and qualify. So good luck to everybody. This is going to be a really entertaining couple of match days. So now we're moving on to a classic CONMEBOL where we have one table, 10 teams. All 10 teams, all on one table. Top 6 qualify. 7th goes to the Interconfederation playoffs. Right now, we already do have a solid 3 teams who have qualified, that being Argentina, Ecuador, and Brazil. They sit at top 3, and mathematically, they cannot not qualify. They must qualify. Unless they drop out or something. I guess I could, but... anyways, outside of them, though, closely behind, they are followed by Uruguay and Paraguay. These are 2 outstanding nations who have a lot of history with the sport. They have always had fantastic teams historically, and they still do. The Uruguay squad is aging a little bit, but we see a lot of these younger players coming in to fill the boots of, say, Cavani, and they're looking very solid. The chances that they wouldn't qualify are slim to none. They're both on 24 points, just 1 point behind already qualified Brazil, and they only have 2 matches left to go. The only nations that could catch up to them right now are 6th place Colombia and 7th place Venezuela. This means that one of these 2 nations is for sure guaranteed to place in the top 6. The only question is, will one of them fall off? Which one will it be? And how will they do at the Interconfederation playoffs, because neither team can get lower than 7th at this point in time. So we will for sure see one of these teams in America. I'd love to see them both. They're pretty regular qualifiers, so best of luck to you. Got 2 games left to go. Let's see how you do. Colombia sit a little bit farther down the table than they would like to be right now, sitting at 6th, just 1 spot ahead of that 7th place Interconfederation Cup spot. But they are a solid 4 points ahead of Venezuela, and they have shown some pretty solid form. I think that if they can just keep up their form for literally 2 more games, they can just stay cozy where they are, or maybe even get up ahead a little bit. They could technically still take 2nd spot if Brazil, Ecuador, Uruguay, and Paraguay all just fail at just the right moments, but I think that they'd be happy to just smooth sail into qualification at 6th. I think they're very capable of doing so. They could still, though, get knocked fully out of qualification. Bolivia would just have to play a really, really, really good couple of last matches, and both Colombia and other teams would have to fail miserably in just the right ways for Colombia to not qualify. So they're looking pretty solid. They just gotta 2 matches. It's literally 2 matches. Moving then to Venezuela, who sit in that Interconfederation 7th place spot. They've put up some mixed results lately, and over this entire qualification window, they've played like an Interconfederation playoff team. They've had some really outstanding performances, and they've had some really disappointing performances. Right now, their biggest goal is staying on top of Bolivia. Now, Bolivia, they sit at 8th place and 17 points. 1 place and 1 point behind Venezuela. They have a funny record that I think most have heard about by now of playing their games at such high elevation because of the high elevation, well, of the whole country, but specifically of their national stadium, that their players, who were born, raised, lived, and trained at high elevations, so they're used to the low oxygen density. And I'm not a lung scientist, so I don't know how that works, but I do know that Bolivian players are used to playing and exerting physical energy at higher elevations compared to somebody who was born, raised, and trained in a low-lying, not elevated nation. So they have a great record at home where other players literally can't breathe well, but they just have an atrocious record away. They have one home game and one away game left. Now, their away game is at Colombia, which is a massive game, and it is the first of this international window. It could very well decide whether or not both Bolivia and Colombia move up, stay, or are disqualified. It is a huge game, but it is in Colombia. This gives not only Colombia an advantage, but Bolivia a severe disadvantage, because they are used to winning at home, losing away. This is a concerning development for the Bolivian national team. While their final match day is a home game, it is against Brazil. Historically, Brazil has been able to fight through the high elevation of Bolivia to consistently dominate the Bolivian national team, despite the nature of their stadium and the elevation of it. I personally don't know if I could see Bolivia winning either of those games. They will have to really put up some truly unprecedented away form in Colombia, as well as some truly unheard of performances against Brazil to make their way even up to seventh into the Interconfederation spot. Finally, because Chile is already disqualified, we have Peru at 9th place. They sit very far from Bolivia at 12 points to Bolivia's 17. That means that anything but a win against Uruguay on their first game day of this international window here will guarantee their disqualification. They need nothing less than 2 wins out of 2 games left in this qualification process to even think about getting into 7th place. Much less will Venezuela, will Bolivia, will other teams have to fail and have to do poorly. They need 6 points out of 2 games to even consider that possibility, and I don't know that that's in their cards. But again, best of luck to them and to every team here. I can't wait to see the results of this qualification window, because after this, we will have a fully finished CONMEBOL qualification process, and we will know exactly which teams are going where. So I'm very excited. I can't wait to watch some of these games. That is going to be it for this half of the video. I just want to edit this, get it all figured out, make sure I know what I'm doing before I record a second half. And the second half will be a bit more of a longer, more explanatory video, just because we have so much qualification left in the CAF and in UEFA that we have a lot to talk about. So a lot of drama, a lot of bans, a lot of everything. So thank you all for watching. If you like this video, just let me know. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like. This is the first video on this channel, so I want your input. If you have any video ideas for the future, let me know in the comments. If you like this, if you like seeing some American guy from Wisconsin talk your ear off about football, great. Subscribe, like, tell your friends. I don't know. I'm loving this, and I'm happy that I finally got a chance to record this video, and now I'm gonna edit this video, and we're gonna see how it goes. So thank you everybody for watching, and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.